This video was sponsored by War Thunder. More from them in a bit. It's 2024. Something I like to do every time there's a new year is reevaluate how far in the past things are. Now that might sound kind of weird, but let me give you an example. So like, since it's 2024 right now, we are as far away from 2004 as 2004 was from 1984. That's pretty simple, right? There's 20 years, 20-year gap. We are as far away from Shrek 2 as Shrek 2 was to the Temple of Doom. For me, somebody who was born in a time where I could see Shrek 2, but not the Temple of Doom, this is weird. But it gets weirder when you start to think about gaming. Like Halo 2, Half-Life 2, GTA San Andreas, Doom 3, Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, Fable, Metal Gear Solid 3, the Nintendo DS, and the PSP are all as far away from us as they were to gaming in 1984, which by that point, the NES wasn't even sold in America yet. I kind of want to just... I kind of just want to do this, just go through a whole list of these weird things, you know? But before we get into all of that, huge thanks to the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. War Thunder is by far the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and it's available right now for free on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Command over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, with vehicles spanning over a century of military development. These detailed vehicles, the visuals, the sound effects are all carefully created to ensure the greatest possible immersion, placing you right in the center of the action. War Thunder has one of the most sophisticated vehicle damage systems in all of gaming. Each vehicle is modeled down to its individual components, and all are susceptible to the kinds of damage that they would be in real life based on the weaponry used. Viewers who use my link in the description and register for a new account or sign in with an account that has not played in the last 6 months will receive a free bonus pack across all platforms after their next login to the game, including premium vehicles, 7 days of premium accounts, and more. There is no better time than now to join the over 70 million players in this incredible PvP experience. Now, since I'm making this at the start of 2024, I'm just going to treat years as flat years. I'm not going to calculate months and stuff. And while this is kind of cheating and can allow for a margin of error up to a year, it's just easier than comparing the exact release dates of things. So first off, Halo 5, which is 9 years old, is further away from us now than Halo 5 was to Halo 3. New Super Mario Bros. Was released in 2006, 18 years ago. 18 years before that was 1988, and in Japan, Super Mario Bros. 3 released, and in America, Super Mario Bros. 2 released. I've always considered Pokemon Black and White to be like new Pokemon games, because I grew up playing Diamond and Pearl and Emerald and stuff before that. But Black and White are now 14 years away from us, releasing in 2010. Throughout the history of Pokemon, Black and White's kind of the halfway point. The first Mario Kart game, Super Mario Kart, released in 1992. That was 32 years ago, and the halfway point between then and now would be Mario Kart Wii. Bloodborne released 9 years ago. The Switch is 7 years old, and 7 years before that, the 3DS was announced. 7 years before that, the GBA SP released, and 7 years before that was the launch of the Nintendo 64. This means the halfway point between us and the Nintendo 64 is Super Mario Galaxy 2. The Xbox 360 is 19 years old, 19 years before the 360 saw the release of Metroid and The Legend of Zelda. New Super Mario Bros. U was the final release in the New Super Mario Bros. Series, releasing 12 years ago on the Wii U. 12 years before that saw the release of Majora's Mask, Spyro 3, and Banjo-Tooie. The Xbox One and PS4 are as old to us now as the start of the 6th generation of consoles was to them. 2002, with games like Metroid Prime, GTA 3, and Wind Waker. The PlayStation Vita at 13 years old is as old to us now as it was to the Game Boy Color. Ratchet & Clank is as old to us now as Missile Command is to Ratchet & Clank. At 23, the original Xbox is as old to us as it was to Space Invaders and the very start of the golden age of arcade gaming. The halfway point between now and Call of Duty 3 is the Order 1886. The last Elder Scrolls game released 13 years ago. Fallout 4 is as far away from us as it was to Oblivion. The Xbox Red Ring of Death debacle is still seen as a blight on the Xbox brand to this day, when many of the new consoles were failing, but that actually happened quite a while ago. The whole event spanned from 2005 to 2008, and around that time, Microsoft, they didn't even have Windows 7 out yet. Angry Birds is as far away from us now as it was to Super Metroid in Donkey Kong Country. The failed SimCity reboot, with its awful always online launch, happened 11 years ago, making it older to us than it was to SimCity 4. The halfway point between us and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is Spore. Destiny is 10 years old, making it as far away from us now as it was to Halo 2. It might be hard for some to see the PS2 as a retro console, but at 24 years old, it's far closer to the NES or even Atari 2600 than it is to us. Super Mario Odyssey is 7 years old. That's just weird to me, right? Sony's first all-digital game console released 15 years ago with the PSP Go. Mario Kart 8 is older to us than Mario Kart DS was to Mario Kart 8. Fortnite was announced in 2011 as the first Unreal Engine 4 game 13 years ago. 13 years before that, Unreal was released. Donkey Kong Country Returns released in 2010, 14 years after Donkey Kong Country 3 released. It's been 14 years since Donkey Kong Country returned, so you could very reasonably have a Donkey Kong Country Returns. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga released 17 years ago. That's just, I don't have a comparison or anything. That just feels like, that doesn't feel right. Guitar Hero, the first one, is further away from us now than it was to Guns N' Roses' Appetite of Destruction album. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary released 10 years after Halo 1 released. If that was the standard for video games, a remake after 1 decade, here's what would be releasing in 2024. Pokemon X and Y remakes, Destiny remake, South Park The Stick of Truth remake, Super Smash Bros. For 3DS remake, GTA 5 Remastered remake, Shovel Knight remake, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare remake, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze remake, Dark Souls 2 remake, Metal Gear Solid 5 remake, Mario Kart 8 remake, Little Big Planet 3 remake, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire remakes, and Halo the Master Chief Collection remake. By the end of 2024, Halo Infinite will be 3 years old, meaning that it will be as old as Halo 3 was by the time Reach released. For the first 3 PlayStation consoles, they released every 6 years. 1994 for the PlayStation 1, 2000 for the PlayStation 2, and 2006 for the PlayStation 3. If this pattern continued, we would have seen a PlayStation 4 in 2012, a PlayStation 5 in 2018, and a PlayStation 6 in 2024. The original PlayStation is 30 years old now, making it as old to us as it was to the first Beatles album. Pac-Man is 44, making him as old to us as he was to Germany breaking the Treaty of Versailles. Again, massive thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. War Thunder is available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Viewers who use my link in the description and register a new account or sign in with an account that has not played in the last 6 months will receive a free bonus pack, including premium vehicles, 7 days of premium accounts, and more.